Well, hello and welcome to another bulb log video, garden diary walk. The garden's turning into summer. At last we've had some nice warm weather. I'm starting down here. This is one of the later flowering tulips, a wee Tulipa sylvestris. This is the form australis because it's got this bronzy colour on the outside of the petals. It's a higher altitude form, so it's more suited to our cooler, moister garden than the typical form, which likes it a bit hotter and drier. So the lushness is starting to come in. If I pan up the trees, lots of leaves in the trees, and rhododendrons, and there's peonies. In the troughs, the saxifrages, the summer saxifrages, so the ones that flower more in the summer. And the papaver, the Meconopsis cambrica, as it used to be called, the yellow poppy. Corydalis crate in purple. And down in the trough, very typical of our troughs, the free bulb comes because I reuse the composts. So this is a Fritillaria camschatensis that somehow got into that trough. So we just spin round some of the other troughs and landscape rocks. Erinus alpinus, of course, great plant. Common and easy, but we should cherish it because it's really nice. So we walk, we'll see more of the little saxifrages flowering away. Here's a white Daphne. We don't do very well with the little Daphnes. We don't get enough heat. Petrophytum hendersoni. And then some of the oxalis. But it's really the lush nature I want to show you. The Erythroniums have gone back. It's quite interesting because they've gone back very quickly because very few of them have set seed. And I've written about this so often and spoken about this that you should not deadhead your bulbs. It does not weaken the bulb to leave the flower stem on. Because bulbs that are setting seed, if you look at those that have no seed, they've all gone. They're underground, they've stopped growing. Now here's some that are still green because they've got seed on. So they're going to grow on for significantly longer. They already have grown for probably a week or 2 weeks longer. And we'll probably do another couple of weeks before they go underground. So looking over the rock garden that was filled with small bulbs early on, what happens to the bulb beds when we move? Well, the Meconopsis come out. There's lots of them, they just seed around up there. And we just encourage them or let them do their thing. Occasionally we move them. They even seed into the Erythronium plunge and into the sand in the plunge frame. Down here the wee bed where I showed earlier on the wee hepaticas and the Corydalis Meconopsis down in here as well. And Aquilegias. We originally started out with the dwarf Aquilegias, so Aquilegia alpina and a few of the others. But we've ended up with this giant mixture now as they've hybridized and grow. And this is what a bulb bed looks like in our garden in the summer. Earlier on it was all the little crocuses and aranthus and snowdrops and leucodiums and various other things, and they've all gone down, and now we've got the big herbaceous growth. So there's delphiniums, there's doronicums, Aquilegias, we've got grasses. And it's very much a similar pattern everywhere, where we encourage different types of growth depending on the openness in the habitat. So Aquilegias, you'll see in there lots of Alliums. So much. You just can't see the bed at the moment. It's so covered. And then if we come round you can still see some of the trilliums that were battered, still bearing the scars of the cold storms we had earlier in the year. But now the dicentra's up and growing. Corydalis craked in blue here with dicentra. Some of the early trilliums, of course, going over. It's quite dry in there actually at the moment. Some of the little Arisemas. We've got lots of Arisemas coming out, and Diosporums. And here's another. Fritillaria camschatensis. Now this is the Alaskan form. Really nice. That's a big head of flowers. And there's more in there that have gone over, just gone over. And everywhere I walk it's similar. We joke that we'll soon need a machete to walk around the garden, and indeed the path's slowly disappearing. But we will gradually thin the dicentra, and while I always say let your plants seed around, there comes a time when you've got plenty and you don't want every single one to seed. So what we'll do is these turn to seed. I can see a stem here of the dicentra turning to seed. Well, we can just take it off, and it's not to stop the plant losing energy or nourishment. It is just because we've probably got enough of these at the moment. But piles of collapsed foliage as the early bulbs start to retreat. We turn round more Aquilegias. Nice ones there with yellow colchicum leaves and the Aquilegias and little rhododendrons. Above it, the big rhododendrons, Rhododendron decorum. And above that, we've got Acer and Acer palmatum form here, Reddit palmatum. And beyond that, the Acer platanoides, the Crimson King. Round here we trees, of course, so important in a garden. So this is our laburnum. It's a really good one. There are so many different forms if you raise them up and look for one that's got nice long trailing racemes. It's really beautiful. And the scent, lemon scent of course. And the buzz of bees, the bees are just coming in again. And it's nice because our neighbour has got a big ancient laburnum in their garden. There's the fence, so that's actually borrowed from next door. That's their laburnum, and it looks lovely. And from up our garden, the two just start to blend in together and kind of give the illusion the garden's bigger. Come down to the new bed here beside the pond. Again, the early bulbs have gone. There's Corydalis and crocus seed pods pushing about. The Erythronium, Sibiricums and that, they'll have shed their seeds. And here's I think it's dropping some of the petals. It was better the other day, but a white Meconopsis has occurred in the seedlings. So here again we use Meconopsis and other of the bigger herbaceous plant to take over. The summer flowering Corydalis, and of course the papaver, the Welsh poppy as it's commonly called, Meconopsis cambrica. And if I just come round, you can see from above my head the laburnum goes really well with the red acer, and that all sits close to the and above the pond where my various little island experiments in habitat are coming along. Acer griseum there with a rhododendron ponticum, the true ponticum, not one of the ponticum hybrids. So I'll just keep walking a wee bit more. And see, there's all sorts coming in here as well. More Doronicums. Not everything's been happy. This Philothamnus is quite a lot of dieback, so there is a lot of green stuff and good green growth there, so I'll probably cut it back. Oh good grief, I've just brushed against the pine and I'm in clouds of pollen. The pine's shedding its pollen at the moment. I'll get all that old brown growth cut off and encourage, you can see there is good healthy new green growth, so a good trim in the next few days will get that into a better state. I encourage the new young growth. But it is just nice here. All the Aquilegias are self-seeded. I don't know if you can see or hear, the bees are just everywhere. They're going like mad. And the sun's brought even more out. Camasia's there. They are seeding around as well. But the whole range of the Aquilegias see the hose pipes out there. I've been watering up on the wall here where the Trillium rivale crevice style. So I'm just checking. No, there is a swelling in the seeds. It wasn't the best year for pollination with all that bad weather, but we will get some seeds. So much is changing at the moment because we're losing that early first wave. You can see all the growth, the old growth, going yellow, which I rather enjoy, the yellow combination, and the green leaves. And then we've got the summer growth that's coming in. Doronicums, as I keep seeking to put stuff in places. There's a plant in there that I grew from seed, and I just can't remember the name of it. No idea what the name is, but it seems quite happy in there, in deep shade. Peonies, there's more peonies up here. So these are seedlings of the peony woodwardy. And then we're about a trip to New Zealand and Salmisia walkeri. These starry flowers lead you round to the soft fern and the white birch. Under the big rhododendrons that I showed you previously that have now shed their flowers and create a wonderful pathway that's actually just starting to go by. I'll have to get it cleared soon. But for the last week or so it's just been a glorious, like somebody has scattered a petal carpet for us. So even as flowers fall, they can provide us some interest. In here again, the early bulbs gone over, similar mixtures. There's more peonies seeding around in there. There's an offset from one of our big Trillium Emodi. Corydalis Creighton purple, there's Alliums coming in here. There's a lot of Rascoias in here as well, but they're not out yet. An orange papaver, the poppy. I must admit I still call it Meconopsis cambrica, because it was what Linnaeus called it after all. In here, hiding underneath, what about the Aracema? I'm trying to pull the bits apart with one hand to let you see all these wonderful flowers. When they first come out, they're just above the leaves, but the leaves quickly overtop them. But absolutely stunning plants, and these leaves will continue to grow. Depends on the amount of water we get and amount of rain, their ultimate size, but they are quite a big leaf. If you can see in the back there, some of the hybrid rhododendrons, all their flowers are facing away from us towards the light, but they shield the compost area. So I'm just about finished. I think we'll wind up just shortly. I just wanted to share, the light's getting harsher again as the sun's coming out, and the contrast. To share some of the lushness that's coming into the garden. In this change that happens as spring gives way to summer. And I just wanted to come round because I started on a little yellow tulip, one of the later flowering tulips, and I'm just spotted this first of our Tulipa springerizer coming out, and of course that's another of the late flowering tulips. It's very much a woodland type tulip. It likes the cooler, shady spots. So I think with this view looking south towards the sun and the laburnum and across the garden, I'm going to leave you there. Thank you for joining me on the walk again, and I look forward to seeing you in a few weeks' time. Bye for now.